Ever wondered who the 10 strongest gods in God of War are? Well, that's good, because in this video we'll see and rank them from weakest to strongest based on what each god proves in the games. At number 10, we've got Athena, the only god who walks into Kratos' attack and takes the blade of Olympus straight through her body to stop him from killing Zeus. That's the only time she steps into a fight, and it's over in one move. But she doesn't stay gone. In God of War 3, she comes back without a body, shows up wherever Kratos goes, and keeps pushing him forward without ever being touched. She's not fighting anyone, but when Kratos reaches the power of hope, a force hidden inside Pandora's box that ends up being strong enough to kill Zeus, Athena tries to take it, saying it belongs to her. Still, she never shows any strength, speed, or toughness in battle, and she doesn't take part in any major fight. Even the official God of War 3 novel says she's a guide, not a warrior, and most fans agree on Reddit, YouTube, or anywhere the gods get ranked that Athena usually doesn't make it into the top spot for power because she's never proven herself in combat. She's on the list because she's still active when the others are gone, and she nearly takes the strongest power in the story, but she lands at number 10 because she never earns it through a fight. At number 9, we've got Hermes, the messenger of the gods and practically the only one who makes Kratos chase him through half of Olympus as a warm-up before a fight even starts. He specializes in running across walls, flipping over gaps, throwing taunts, and staying out of reach while landing fast shots whenever Kratos gets close. The fight doesn't turn until Kratos finds a way to corner him. Once the speed is gone, Kratos knocks him down, cuts his legs off, and kills him without any real struggle. Hermes isn't strong and he's not built for damage, but he's the fastest character Kratos faces in the Greek saga, and his boots become part of the gameplay for the rest of God of War 3, letting Kratos scale walls and move at a speed no other god had. He's number 9 because he lasted longer than most by not getting caught, but once Kratos forced a close fight, Hermes had nothing left to fall back on. At number 8, we've got Hades, the god of the underworld and the first Olympian Kratos takes on in God of War 3. The second Kratos drops into his chamber, Hades doesn't say much. He just lashes out with chained claws, yanks him across the floor, and tries to rip his soul out right there and then. The arena shifts as the fight drags on, the floor opens up and souls start pouring out from below, the dead circling the room like they're answering to him. Hades doesn't rely on just one move, he teleports, slams Kratos, blocks hard hits, and keeps calling on spirits to protect him or attack from behind. He even heals mid-fight by pulling fresh souls straight from the pit, which forces Kratos to keep the pressure up or get overwhelmed. It's not a clean win. Kratos gets pulled, slammed, interrupted, and pushed across multiple platforms before he finally closes the gap and rips the claws of Hades off his arms. And even then, Hades doesn't drop. His soul tries to escape, but Kratos chases it down and drags it back through the arena to finish him off. That soul-ripping move becomes one of Kratos' main weapons for the rest of the game, and it works on almost everything, which means Hades' core ability wasn't just for show, it was valuable enough to steal. Lore-wise, he's Zeus' brother and the ruler of the dead, which should have made him harder to kill inside his own realm. In fan circles, Hades usually ends up right in the middle. He's not weak, not by a long shot, but he doesn't bring the kind of destructive force or screen-shaking moments that the top-tier gods do. He makes this list because he's one of the only gods who controls the field, hits hard, and doesn't fall in one phase. But he stays at number 8 because once Kratos pushes past the soul tricks, there's nothing left to stop him. At number 7, we've got Helios, the sun god, and the only Olympian whose death blinds a titan. Kratos finds him in the middle of a battlefield. The place is wrecked, harpies are flying, and cyclopses are stomping around, and the sky is still burning with Helios' light. He's stuck on a broken chariot and pinned down, but not powerless. Even from a distance, his glow lights up the whole scene. Kratos has to fight through waves just to reach him. One of the Cyclopses grabs Helios and uses him as a weapon. His light still does damage, even while he's being held like bait. Once Kratos breaks through and drags him out, Helios doesn't swing or cast anything, he just talks. He says killing him will throw the world out of balance, and after Kratos tears off his head, that's exactly what happens. The sky dims and Apollo's chariot crashes. From there, Helios' head becomes a key tool. It lights dark rooms, reveals hidden walls, and blinds enemies during combat. In Ascension, his light burns straight through monsters like the Manticore. In Chains of Olympus, Persephone steals his energy to destroy the world. Helios makes it this high because of reach. His power affects the whole environment. Fans usually place him above Hermes, not because he's stronger in combat, but because what he controls stretches further. At number 6, we've got Persephone, who's the queen of the underworld, and the only god who nearly destroyed the world before Kratos even becomes the ghost of Sparta. Her fight happens in Chains of Olympus when Kratos is still working for the gods. She meets him inside the ruined temple of Helios, tells him exactly what she's doing, and then launches into a full-scale battle, and she isn't using illusions or monsters either. She flies, slams through stone, shoots light from the sky, and sends shockwaves through the ground. She moves fast and doesn't stay grounded for long. Her entire plan is powered by Helios, whose light she steals and channels through the pillar of the world. If she succeeds, the world literally falls apart. Kratos holds his own, but he doesn't overpower her easily. She creates barriers, floats out of reach, and hammers him with long-range blasts. The fight takes full use of the arena, switching between air attacks and wide magic bursts. It ends only when Kratos lands a final blow at close range, after breaking her shield and pushing through her waves of energy. On fan rankings, especially in Reddit threads and YouTube breakdowns, she usually sits just under the top 5. She stays out of the top 5 because her only showing is early game Kratos, and we never see how she'd hold up once he reaches his peak. At number 5, we've got Baldur, the first god Kratos fights in the Norse saga, and the only one who just won't stay down. Baldur punches through trees, cracks the ground, takes the Leviathan axe to the face, and doesn't even flinch. Kratos breaks his neck, but Baldur gets back up like nothing happened. He fights on top of dragons, crashes through cliffs, eats fire, blades, arrows, and never slows. Nothing hurts him, not until breaking Freya's spell makes him vulnerable. That's when Kratos lands a clean punch and actually hurts him for the first time. Even at that, Baldur keeps going. He still tries to kill Freya, but Kratos grabs him and chokes him out right there with his bare hands. He's number 5 because nobody else gets this many shots and keeps getting back up. At number 4, we've got Poseidon, the god of the sea and the first major boss in God of War 3. Kratos and Gaia are climbing Mount Olympus, and Poseidon shows up as a huge water titan with crab legs, horse heads, and lightning all wrapped into one. He attacks from every angle, knocking Gaia around like nothing. Kratos fights him in parts, on Gaia's back, on breaking ground, and inside her. Poseidon keeps changing forms, sending out water horses, shooting lightning, and covering himself with creatures that keep blocking Kratos' hits. Kratos kills Poseidon by ripping him out of his water form and then beating him to death with his bare hands. He makes number 4 because his fight is huge and loaded with power plays from start to finish. At number 3, we've got Thor, the first real boss in God of War Ragnarok. First hit, Kratos flies through the trees. Thor stays on him, drops Mjolnir across his face, and keeps calling it back before Kratos can even recover. At one point, Kratos' heart stops completely, but Thor restarts it on his own, going on like nothing ever happened. Later in the game, they fight again. Thor holds back because Odin tells him to. He still keeps up with Kratos and Atreus at the same time, but before the fight can end, Odin steps in and kills him with a spear through the chest. He lands at number 3 because he's the only god Kratos fights one-on-one in Ragnarok who nearly matches him blow for blow. At number 2, we've got Zeus, King of Olympus, the first real fight at the end of God of War 2. Kratos has already fought through titans and gods, but Zeus still drops him. He stabs Kratos with the Blade of Olympus and sends him straight to the underworld. In God of War 3, Zeus throws lightning non-stop, shields himself, multiplies, flies, and moves around the arena. You have to chase him through different phases. At one point, the whole screen turns white, and you're swinging without even seeing what's around. When you finally drop him, his spirit comes back, pulls Kratos into some dark mental space, and tries to break him from the inside. Kratos uses the power from Pandora's box to push through it, and that's what ends Zeus. Zeus is number 2 because it takes 2 full games to bring him down, and he's the only god to have killed Kratos at one point. At number 1, we've got Kratos, the god who kills the rest. He's not born a god, but he earns it in God of War 1 when Ares makes him a weapon, and he turns that power back on Olympus. After killing Ares, he becomes the new god of war and only gets stronger from there. By the end of Ragnarok, he's fought Thor twice, killed Heimdall, killed Odin, survived multiple realm tears, and walked out of Surtur's final battle. In gameplay, he has more tools than ever. Leviathan Axe, Blades of Chaos, Draupnir Spear, Spartan Rage modes, and full access to elemental buffs and relics. He's number 1 because he wins every major fight without needing resurrection. That's it! If you liked this video, you can now check out this other cool video that appears in your screen. Click on it to see it! Click it!